Okay. If you could please state your name and who you are.
All right, so my name is Mr.Valentin, and I am the robotics teacher here at Blanson High School CTE.
Okay. Um, what did you go to school for?
I initially went to school for engineering technology at Sam Houston State University. I wanted to be a production manager for an oil and gas company that I was working at.
And how did you end up here in robotics, like teaching robotics?
So, in the oil business, there are a lot of ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. There's times when when the gas is high, or more little more expensive, business is good for us. When the price of the gas is low, that means there's not a lot of work in the oil field. So they that roller coaster kind of drove me into wanting more time with my family because I've worked long hours, long days, working in the oil field, and having the opportunity to become a teacher kind of gave me that family time that I was looking for,
More stability.
more stability, and then also give me a sense of fulfillment. I always wanted to work with kids, and this just kind of opened a door for that.
What is robotics though? Like, what actually is robotics?
So robotics is the technology that we use to make your life easier, right? It does robotics does they the technology is based on making your life easier. That's basically what it comes down to. It it does things for you, right?
What made robotics interesting to you? That made you want to pursue it?
So robotics was never in my book. Like it was not what I woke up one day and say, "Oh man, I'm gonna be a robotics teacher." So when I applied for this job, it was actually offered to me because of my background, my experience. It just kind of blended into, hey, if you have the engineering background, then you can be a robotics teacher. Because everything is based off that engineering. So it was not something that I was looking for, but after I interviewed, it was a door that I was like, hey man, I'm open to that opportunity, and so that's how I started.
So you started here and you started working with the kids, but like many people don't know like what actually do y'all do in robotics? What actually are robots?
So here in robotics, we have the kids have different opportunities, and that's what I kind of focus myself. I focus. That's what my focus is: giving the kids opportunities to do things that give them the real life experiences, which are working in teams, being able to hold a position of leadership, being able to make decisions that impact not only yourself but your team, and then finally to really experience, you know, those decisions, whether you're successful or not. You have that opportunity. If you hold one of those leadership spots.
So being in robotics can set them up with skills that they can use like forever.
Right, right. So I can give you. So last year I had one of my. I guess it was one of my best years. It was my third year teaching, and there were so many opportunities. We got a lot of my students. My number one, Ismail, and he really, I guess, working together with him kind of made me made me get better. Like we kind of walked together and we got better as we. It helped me. It helped me see or open another door to teaching that I didn't like really cherish. I guess developing relationships is not something that I was used to or working with. But as I continue to work with kids or with students, I get to be able just to see them grow. I get to know their strengths and their weaknesses, and I get to focus on, hey, even though you're really successful at doing this, you still need to work on this because you need to be able to balance who you are as a person, right? Or hey, you're amazing doing this, but what about this? You're leaving it out, right? Don't just don't be one-sided. You have to look at the entire picture, and that's what we do here. I like to challenge them to make sure that they're looking at the entire picture, that they can focus their on the entire project, not just one piece of the puzzle, and that they can work together as a team. Because once you guys leave out of here, you're going to be part of a team. Whether you have your own business, you're going to be a team leader, you're going to be a business owner, or you go work for somebody, right? You're going to be part of a company. You're going to be a piece of a puzzle, right? And you have to be able to have the skills and and knowledge to be able to do a good job and be able to continue growing depending on where you want to go. So it's important to always think, to always start working, or to always start something with the end in mind, right? You start working for a company. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, right? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? You know, what's your short-term plan? What are you doing in the next year? How are you going to get there? What are you doing to get there? So these are all things that, you know, in a smaller scale, when you're looking at these robots, it's like, okay, what's the end goal? Well, we have a challenge. We have a game, right? This is the game. Okay, how do you win? This is what I need to do to win. Okay, so how then start thinking about components. What do you need? How are you gonna get it? Do some research. So we follow the engineering design process for that, and I think you can apply that to
A lot of things.
a lot of things, and not just in school, but on your own personal life.
And um, we know that like the students, they deal with the robots and things like that, and like it consists of like engineering and computer programming to make them be able to actually function. But something that I've wondered, and like people that I know have wondered, is like how does like, because I know artificial intelligence has been a big idea that's been going around lately. I just wanted to know like how does that play a part into robotics and what y'all actually do.
So AI, I guess AI. I mean, it's wonderful, right? It really helps you cut back in a lot of the work that you should be doing, depending on how you use it. But one of the one of the things that we discussed in class was, is it really helping you, or is it making you
Lazy.
handicapped, right? Lazy. Are you? Is it? Are you not able? Where is that line between helping you and just doing the work for you? So you're not, and then you're not really thinking. You just type it in a question and you get an answer. So even the way I see it, even though it's amazing, I mean, we really cuts back work for a lot of stuff, and not hard to use it. But it, I think it's it doesn't allow you to grow. It doesn't allow you to think critically, and that's something that we need to do all the time. Not just in the class, engineering, like read more books, read, read, man, because that's where knowledge comes from. Being able to read. So I don't think. I mean, but going back to your question, AI, even though it's really good, I don't think it's it's beneficial and it really helps a lot. But how much do you use it, and is it really, like, my question would be like, I don't see it. It's a double-edged sword, right? So it's really great, but at the same time, I feel like it stops from it stops us from thinking critically.
Um, so like we know that y'all end goal is to win a competition. Like you work with the students and y'all build the robots and stuff, and it's to win a robotics competition. But like, what actually happens at those competitions? Like, are there certain requirements that are need to be met to win, or like how does a student would be able to go about that?
So in order for you to be part of the robotics team, you have to apply. Okay, and the reason for that is because we and you. So first of all, you don't need no experience in robotics to join the robotics team. Zero. You don't have to know anything about robotics, right? It's open to anyone. But the reason why we interview is because I want to get to know who you are as a person, right? Like you said, we travel, we go a lot of places, we different competitions. So I need to be able to get to know you before I really get to know you, right? So I was a supervisor in my old job, and there was a lot of times when you interview people and they can sing to you bells and whistles. Oh, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, and I'm the perfect person for the job, right? But you guys, well, high school teenagers are not young adults, are not thinking at that high level where like, hey, I gotta interview to get a position where I'm gonna, be able to do a whole bunch of cool stuff. When you come in and you interview, you're nervous. You're like really don't know, and we ask you questions to think critically about teamwork, about different scenarios that maybe you have um, that you that been in, like hey, maybe you're in a team and this happens. How do you handle that situation? Or hey, you become a team leader and this happens. How do you handle that situation? So depending on how you answer, right, and how the process goes, we move you to a different scenario where we ask you to, hey, follow the instructions and we see where you're at. And a lot of the kids, so this year I think we had like 80 something people that applied. And out of those 80 people, they couldn't follow simple instructions. So you automatically fall off right there. If you cannot follow, hey, write an essay that's a minimum of 150 words, we have an issue right off the back. So I don't, hey, you're out. So the ones that did the 150 words, and all right, cool, let's check you out. What's next? And then we just kind of break them down just like that. So once you're in the team, we give you all the tools. I set you up where most of the time I get to know I know who you are, or I ask the students, hey, what do you think about this person? Have you had this is pretty much school, so like, hey, have you interacted with this person? Oh yeah, I have them for so and so, so and so. So it's okay. So how are they? So then I start asking questions. I contact your teachers, your core teachers. Hey, I got so and so. We ask for references. Hey, I got so and so. Do you think be a good fit? Oh yeah, man, perfect, good fit. I'll be like, man, I don't know. He plays a lot. So, it's a thing where like, okay, if I take you in, well, you'll be able to grow to the person that I'm looking for, right? So once you come into the team and I help you grow, I help you develop skills that you're gonna need to be able to be successful in the team. And once you become part of us, I won't let you quit. I had some that, oh man, I can't make it. Man, don't be a quitter, man. We're in this together. If if you're part of the robotics team and you're like family, I give you a sense of of
Community.
not only community but a place where you belong. You belong to the robotics team. I'm gonna look over you as much as I can, because if you're gonna you went out and you work hard to be able to be part of this team, I'm gonna work just as hard to make sure that you continue to be part of this team, right? But that does come with, hey, you gotta make sure that you're passing your grades, you gotta make sure that you're staying on track, and most important, that you carry yourself with utmost respect, not only for yourself but towards others. And I mean, you can act, all respectful here and, like, oh, the perfect kid. But then I see you walking around the halls and acting crazy, then we have an issue. Because when we're out in competitions, I can't be watching you all the time. And I have to make sure I can trust you so that you can do what you need to do when I'm not looking. So once we get to that, man, when we get to that part, we get to study the game, where we at, what we need to do, and develop a plan. Develop a plan to be successful. And we do a lot of research. Before we start building anything, we get to know, we read the game manual. We get to know, hey, what can we do? What can't we not do? And we start coming up with ideas. Like my new teams, I always, so in every game, there's a bot that you start off. I just let them build that, and then they start thinking about ideas. I take them to a game where they're like, okay, this is what it's gonna look like. And a lot of times, man, it's overwhelming. It's a lot of pressure because they go really, really, really quick. And everybody's like, what? Like there's teams that sit there and cry that things break. You could lose a point by one game, and you're like, man, we almost had it. So it's really amazing, man. It's something that I would encourage everybody to be part of.